Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Broadway's newest Cinderella is Tony Award nominee Denee Benton in Stephen Sondheim and James Lapine's Into the Woods. She created the role earlier this year at City Center's famed Encores. She'll be playing Cinderella till December 24th, and I caught up with Denee here at the St. James Theater. It's great to be catching up with you here at the St. James. How excited are you to have stepped into now the Broadway transfer of Into the Woods?
I'm so thankful that it worked out. I was had so much FOMO that it was transferring and I couldn't do it with scheduling with the Gilded Age. And so when Lear called me, I'm like, to get to do the show for a month is a dream.
Okay, well, let's go back to the last time I was with you, I think, was in the rehearsal room at City Center.
Yes.
Like a few days before you were going to do the show there. Like, what was it like rehearsing the show there and working with this company, thinking that was going to be the only stop?
I mean, at that point, we were all just sort of shell-shocked from trying to learn Sondheim in 6 days. And the fact that we'd pulled it off, we just felt so relieved. It was the great equalizer. And then when we pulled it off, it was just magic in a bottle. It felt like lightning. And so the idea that it could carry on was so exciting. I don't think any of us expected it.
Okay, so Lear calls you up and says, you're going to go in now on Broadway because the Gilded Age is over. What do you remember about your first performance as Cinderella here at the St. James Theater, that first performance on stage?
Wow, what do I remember about it? I think that it just felt nice to be home. Like it felt, I was so nervous to be able to pull it off again. And then to be on stage with Brian Darcy James and Stephanie J. Block. And I mean, as a musical theater kid, it just felt like the bar just keeps raising.
Yeah. When were you first aware of the musical? Was it a DVD? Like, when were you first aware of Sondheim's and James Lapine's Into the Woods?
I actually did Into the Woods in high school. It was my first musical at my new school. I wasn't going to audition, and my friend made me, and I got cast as Rapunzel. And I had a long blonde wig, and I was 14. And then it became my favorite musical. It was just like I've always been a little bit of an existentialist. And so I think it spoke to me as a moody 14-year-old.
So what do you remember about that performance, playing Rapunzel? I mean, this is a big show. I mean, learning, like, to sing Sondheim.
I remember thinking in high school, oh my God, I'm so happy I don't have to learn Your Fault. I was like, I don't know how they do that. And then getting cast as Cinderella, was like, oh no, I have to learn it. I have to figure it out. And then you pull it off and you feel like I'm a master musician. No one can tell me anything.
Okay, we have to talk about the audience that comes to this show. I mean, every show has an incredible audience, but there's nothing like the fans of Into the Woods that have come to this show over and over and over, and the experience starts in a second. The lights go down, and you all walk forward. What is that feeling like?
You know, you really feel like you're getting to be in a show that's truly special to so many people. Everyone kind of has this really human connection with it. And so you see people sort of tears in their eyes, just really ready for us to give them this story. And that is so special.
So what is it like living in the world of Sondheim and Lapine?
It's a gift. I mean, it's musical theater gold. It doesn't really get better than the nuances and the ways that they handle your work as an actor. Like if you just sing what they wrote and say what they said, it's better than anything you could have come up with. And that is like such a gift as a storyteller.
The first time you saw yourself done up as Cinderella, like in the mirror with your outfit on, the hair, the makeup, like what went through your mind?
You know, it's interesting. Cinderella is like one of my favorite heroines because I love that it shows how much doubt she has and how much questioning. And it's cool to see Cinderella's arc in that way. And so almost when she's in the gown and in the crown, it's like a performance of who she thought she needed to be. And then that's not who she ends up being. And so I like the nuance of it.
You know, it's so interesting. I fell in love with the show with the original production, and then, of course, on VHS and DVD and seeing it after. And the funny thing is, it resonates with people at different times in their lives. Now that I'm older, I look at different characters in the show and relate to different characters. And every time I come to the show, I watch it through someone else's eyes. That's got to be amazing.
Yeah, that's such a good point. It's such a good point to think of when I was young, you know, Little Red's discoveries of nice is different than good is mind-blowing. And then now when you listen to The Witch and she's like, you're not good, you're not bad, you're just nice. It's brilliant the way he captures just kind of like tugging at those human questions we have.
Yeah. Back to the audience for a second. There's such an incredible diversified audience. There's elders, grandparents, and parents and kids, and many people are experiencing this musical, which they've heard about for the very first time, and it's life-changing for them of what you're presenting up there, what that means to you.
It means so much. I remember when I was really young, the Brandy Whitney version of Cinderella was like my Bible. I watched it almost every day. And as a kid, I was 5. The diversity also drew me in so much. I saw myself. And it feels like our production of Into the Woods is pulling on that tradition in a really exciting way that kids see different, they see so many options of themselves on stage.
And I love this because the cast keeps changing, which is incredible. It's like another fabulous person going into this show that you get to do it with.
Exactly. Like
What-
we're just as excited. When the audience hears like, oh my God, so and so's coming in. I was like, oh my God, Chiquita's coming in. I'm such a big fan. I can't wait to work with her. And when I found out I'd get to do it with Bettina, and when I'd get to do it with, so many people, Brian Darcy James and Gavin. I listened to Hair before every college audition, and so I'm just as excited to be on stage with all of them. And then you have people like Cole, and it's just special.
So finally, when you take your bow each night or each afternoon after a matinee, how do you feel? What goes through your mind?
Being on Broadway is beautiful, and it's really hard work on your body. So I think most of us are just like taking in the love and then being like, okay, how much coconut water and stretching do I need to be able to do this again?
How early do you get to the theater?
Every day is a little different, but I try to be warmed up by the time I get here so I can just get into costume and makeup. And yeah.
Well, congratulations. We're thrilled to have you back.
Thank
It's so
you.
wonderful that you're able to experience this all over again after the
I
first magical
know.
time at City Center. And now you get to do it with your peers and your friends on Broadway here at the St. James.
Exactly. It's such a gift. I'm thankful.